and sign up for the daily update to receive top headlines delivered to your inbox 5 days a week. Go to farmweeknow.com. All ag, all Illinois, all you need.
Central Illinois Truck Service is growing thanks to you. Owner Perry Stanfa here. Our new service manager, Jeremy Peters, and our certified technicians will keep your semi-truck engine rolling. Click my icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
SIU Family Medicine wants the best health for you and your family. Be a champion. Protect your loved ones. The SIU Center for Family Medicine of Taylorville is accepting new patients. Click their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com to schedule your appointment.
AgriTalk is the radio talk show for American agriculture. Hi, everybody. I'm your host, Chip Flory. We join you weekday mornings from 10 to 11 on WTIM on AM and FM. And on the WTIM streams. We provide farmers and ranchers with timely insights and information aimed at improving their operations. Join me, Chip Flory, weekdays at 10:06 on your ag information station, WTIM.
WTIM. Good morning. You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show, which is brought to you by both People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman, and joining me in this segment is the director of the Christian County EMA, Jeff Stoner. Good morning to you, Jeff.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning.
Good to have you on here.
Yeah.
First time I've got to see you in person. It's a little easier on us, than over the phone in terms of knowing what's going on with each other here. So great to actually get to meet you here in studio today. Summer months are here.
Yeah.
And that too means some active weather. We've already seen a little bit of it with thunderstorms and other things like that. Take me from there, though, the changes in the season and what you'd like to let the public know is
Sure.
kind of going to be here and make them aware of.
Yeah. So severe weather is obviously the threat now, the tornado season, into the hail and the thunderstorms, severe weather. And there's a lot that people may not understand about different aspects of the major severe weather. When we look at the cutting into the programming of the Weather Channel, of WAD or whatever, it's like why do we do those things? So I just kind of wanted to go over the fact of like the outdoor warning sirens to start. And again, these are often mistaken for tornado sirens. They are actually severe weather sirens. So it doesn't actually have to be an active tornado or a tornado on the ground to activate these sirens. These sirens are pretty much in place for those who are outside to go inside, seek shelter, and then turn on their trusted news sources. Usually these sirens are heard 1 to 2 miles away, and just because, let's say, in our case, let's say a siren goes off in Morrisonville, it doesn't necessarily mean that a siren in Assumption is going to go off at the same time. So these are activated based off of the criteria of the National Weather Service in that area, and also the police chiefs, fire chiefs, and whoever's activating dispatch, whoever's activating that jurisdiction's sirens.
Okay.
So,
when it comes to the actual activation itself, that's something that you're doing on the back end. Is there a little program that you're able to just type in and say, hey, I want these sirens in this area going off? How does that kind of work?
Yeah.
For you?
So how it works for us, we're monitoring the National Weather Service on the National Weather Service chat. Which is a really interesting application. It's pretty much the statewide chat group from the Central Illinois region is what we have. But you can watch it on the chat, the storm as it progresses from west to east or however it goes across the state. And so in that chat, the National Weather Service in Lincoln, they start activating these. So we have a heads up for the most part. So what I do is I contact all the chiefs. I mean, they're obviously aware of the severe weather coming and they're watching it anyway. And our departments are across the county are really great of seeing the potential for severe weather. And, getting guys, firefighters or personnel to the station and staffing the stations prior to an event hitting. So what I do is I call them, they're aware of the situation, they monitor if there's any updated information or any, rotation or anything spotted on the ground that we can confirm. That's when we start talking to them, and then they make the decision to activate the outdoor warning sirens.
Okay. So you're
Yeah.
basically working to kind of keep everybody in the loop,
Mhm.
even though they might be, they might be aware of it, but you're making sure that
Right.
folks are aware of it
Right.
and letting them know that the staffing is needed.
Yep.
Something I found out today that I did not know. You're a firefighter and have been for a long time now.
Yeah.
Does that connection kind of help you in that regard?
It does. Knowing the kind of ins and outs of the command structure and just the trainings that we have and the relationships we have, as mutual aid departments and, with the police departments, the sheriff's office, it really helps the flow of information get to where it needs to very quickly.
So I did not realize, because I thought when it came, I always thought that there were tornado watch sirens, or at least that there was a funnel cloud or something. I did not realize it was just a severe weather warning, basically, to go seek shelter.
Yes.
How do you know, other than you basically have to go to that news source to find out then what type of severe weather it is, if it's not just if it's a tornado warning or whatever the case might be, that's how you get it. But that is just to let you know that there is severe weather, that it is incoming, or that it is here. News to me.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you kind of filling me in on that.
Yeah. And we do have trained weather spotters. So we put a class on this last month for emergency responders throughout the county. Very good turnout. We had over 50 responders from various agencies that were there. And, they go out and spot during daylight hours because, it's very dangerous in the night to do it. So we advise, not to do that for our responders. But they go out and they sit in different locations in the county and watch this storm come through. And then their radio traffic comes to pretty much, their command comes to me. And then it's a very, as much as it's like, well, how do we know all this?
Yeah.
Like when there's so much going on in the background that people may not be aware of.
Oh, I certainly wasn't. And that's all I can help but think is there is a lot more to it than I was even aware of. I've talked to yourself or others, and you just like, oh, okay, warnings, well, sirens, okay, that makes sense. But knowing that there's a full board crew, kind of working to do so, that I did not fully realize.
Yeah.
Is that something that you have found just kind of ramps up during the summer months, that you just need more hands on deck and just more regular storms and the frequency of them? Or is the winter months just as busy for some of those? Like even this year when we had some of those big storms, everything can kind of translate from summer into winter too.
Sure. Yeah. The main threat for us is the spring and summer months into the fall. The snow and the cold does present a threat. Obviously with, if it gets extreme cold and then power outages or ice storms and things like that. But the majority threat for us is that tornado, high wind, straight line wind damages that we're very concerned about. That's a lot less predictable than a foot of snow. That's just stay in your home.
Yeah.
Don't travel on the roads. But the with the tornado sirens and the threat of this month, this season, is a big thing I want to tell people is expect to hear a siren and not see a tornado.
Yeah.
Right. And maybe absolutely nothing will happen. But what it is the storm meets the stipulations of potentially dangerous situation for civilians. And so that's why the activation is done. I've always said, everybody, there's people that complain, that, hey, well, the sirens went off, nothing happened here, and it's like, and we understand that. And it was the information we had. We wanted to be prepared so that it's not, it just blew through here. Why didn't you activate the sirens? So it's just kind of an information thing for people. So
I think people would be a lot more upset if you
If it didn't.
So I think honestly, you're probably doing it right as you are right now.
Yeah.
When it comes to the sirens itself, I think it's good information for somebody like myself who you just might hear it and you might walk out on your porch and go, all right, it looks all right, But just some of these things you just don't hear about, and you just don't realize how much is going on behind the scenes. let's say a storm is potentially coming. Let's
Sure.
say we've got one tomorrow.
Yeah.
Are you dreading that? Is that something that you're looking at and you're like, man, you got to be kidding me? The forecast again's got me in severe weather.
Out of everything that I get to do in this job, weather, I love it, but I hate it. It's a love-hate relationship. I don't like how unpredictable and quickly things can go very, very wrong, because it's a very tense situation, because you want to make sure everybody's informed and safe across the county. And the fact of we do a pretty good job across the departments and everything that information gets passed quickly. But, some of these storms pop up in less than 15 minutes,
right.
Can build really quick. And then it's like, oh no, and then you're scrambling. So it's weather. I dread weather.
Yeah.
I like the sunny, sunshining days but
your day is going to be a little bit better as well as everybody else's too.
Right.
With some nice sunshine, but I just have to imagine, for yourself, it's like, man, come on, no, not again. Like, how is this again? So, no, and I appreciate you sharing the back end of it, because to me, that's the interesting part of it, is how many people are putting that work in, and how many lines of communication are coming through your phone or through your computer, and then you're sending that along to the individuals that need it. Just thank you for sharing that, because that's to me the interesting part of behind the scenes. Well, joining me now in this segment is the director of the Christian County EMA. It's Jeff Stoner. Jeff is in studio here today, and we're brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. We'll come right back around with more with Jeff in just one moment. You're listening to WTIM, your information station.
WTIM. Kimmer Village, Inc. is hiring for our future Assumption Community Child Care Center. This is Shawla Nagel, Executive Director for Kimmer Village, Inc.
This is Amanda McKay, Director of Human Resources. If you're looking for a career with full benefits, paid meals, qualify for student loan forgiveness, we support continuing education, and if you want to make a difference in a child's life, apply at kimmervillage.org and click Join Our Team.
This is Joe Wills with People's Bank and Trust, where customers have one business banker who understands their business and provides the right financial services to achieve their financial goals. Your business banker is your single source for all your financial needs, from cash management to lines of credit, from mortgages to equipment loans, and everything in between. Call me at 888-PBT-1954. At People's Bank and Trust, we put people first. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Darren Seaton here, new manager at Taylorville Home Source, your local design center. With some information you may not know, we can complete your bathroom design with vanity and cabinets, and shower system with Onyx, or the new tile vinyl plank flooring. We have our own in-house installer with many years of experience, plus several contractors to help with the remodel. See me, Darren Seaton, at your local design center in Taylorville Home Source.
I'm Police Chief Andrew Pistorius with the Sullivan Police Department, here to talk about a topic no one wants to discuss, depression that many times leads to suicide. When a person is going through such feelings, many times family and friends don't know how to help, but there is help. If you feel depressed or lonely, there are many resources to help you. Call a trusted relative, friend, or minister, or call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline toll-free at 800-273-TALK. That's 800-273-TALK. All of us are here to help.
If you're 40 and over, you'll recognize these artists by their first names: Frank, Dean, Sammy, Andy, Nat, Diana, Michael. Well, here's the big news. You can now hear Central Illinois' largest music library with over 3,500 songs on air and online at 965thechill.com. Tune in on the FM dial in Christian County and on your computer or smartphone. Hear these great artists and many more 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 965thechill.com.
Get a quality, low-maintenance manufactured home from Hillcrest Manufactured Homes in Taylorville. Park it at Bailey Park or Hillcrest Park. It's priced right, low maintenance, and close to medical care. Learn more at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Brenda Elder here, the Executive Director of the Shelby County Economic Development Corporation. From growing your business to attracting new investment, we're here to help. Find out more by clicking our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show, which is brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmarks of Taylorville. Joining us in this segment, it's Jeff Stoner, Director of the Christian County EMA. We talked a little bit about active weather and as we transition into the summer, what to expect, and also outdoor warning sirens. It's a seek shelter warning. Doesn't necessarily mean a tornado is touching down as of a few moments from that siren going. Now that we've learned a little bit about that, we've learned how much back end work that you're doing. Tell me a little bit about the back end of event planning, like the Christian County Fair or other events that go on.
Yeah, so that really ties into it because with the event planning of different small town events, coming up 4th of July, Memorial Day, the Christian County Fair, especially the concert events. I know you said Clay Walker's
yes,
coming. That'd be great. And so the event planning with that, I mean, it's not just everybody as on the civilian side is like, oh, I just go to this concert, everything's great, it's wonderful. But on the back end of that, there's so much planning between our agency, the fire departments, police departments, EMS, the fair board itself, the concert event or the management of the concert, and just to make sure that every I is dotted and T is crossed for safety. That up this last one I think brought about 3,000 at the county fair. I know there's other events in the county. You look at the South Fork Music Festival out there, could bring anywhere of up to it's up to 10,000, something like that, extra people into the county at one point in time. So these, and you get Tri-County Fair, and you got, all these Memorial Days, Labor Day events that bring people into one area, one small area that, potentially there could be, a problem. So we try to plan for all scenarios, but you can never plan for everything.
No, but having an idea of roughly what to do, especially in mainstay, potential for fire or other things like that.
Sure.
But again, it goes back to how much is going on the back end of it. Yes, I'm going to the concert and I'm just enjoying Clay Walker.
Right.
But there are 15 cops out there. EMS is on standby right behind the grandstand, and you just don't think about those things because you're locked in on the music or whatever else. So when it comes to event planning itself, you mentioned like the South Fork Dirt Riders too. Countywide, we're doing this for the whole county. You've got Kitchell Park, you've got the Popcorn Festival and different things like that. When you look at a calendar for the year, are you going and saying, okay, well, how do we delegate enough people to this event going on right now, delegate enough folks to this event? And what if two events are running at the same time and we're running low on folks?
Yeah, and that's the really good part about the fire departments we have, and the combination departments, full-time department, and the volunteer departments that we have, is they are actively engaged in their community. They are all their personnel are, when these events happen in their community, they, it's all hands on deck for them. They come in, they're walking around, they're running this, the fire chiefs and assistant fire chiefs and their chief officers, their departments are, making sure that these IAPs are in place, the incident action plans, and making sure that their event runs smoothly for their community. So it's a lot of department-based operations, and they do a heck of a job getting it done to make sure these events go off without a hitch.
It's kind of the same with you here. So, I sit back and I think, all right, Chief Aderman, busy guy, he's battling blazes, but that's not it. There's events, and then there's severe weather, and then it's a lot more than you might realize going on behind the scenes. So that's, if I'm going to take away anything from this, that's going to be my main thing, is how many folks it really takes to make sure that these go smoothly.
Yeah.
In terms of, there is an active weather event, and the sirens aren't going off, but we want to let you know and be aware of that happening. Facebook, the best place to go. The sheriff's office app, the best place to go. Where's the best place to go to find that up-to-date information?
Yeah, so we've used that app, mass notification system across the county of you have the Facebook, social media platform of it that you can watch and see the alerts. It's just the Christian County Emergency Management. You can join us on Facebook, and you can kind of track the weather events and how that works, and other things that community events are going on. Also, the Sheriff's app is a very great app to use. Their information comes out. We work together to get that information pushed out to as many users as possible. HyperReach is also a mass communication system. It's an automatic notification system that comes to your phone, email, computer, wherever you want it to go automatically when the National Weather Service does issue a severe weather. So there's multiple ways to get this information. Also, if you can go get a NOAA weather radio. There's multiple forms of those, and those will give you information as soon as something is happening. So we have a lot of ways to get this information out, which is pretty much the knowledge is power type mindset. So
keeping folks in the loop. So whether it's on social media, the Christian County Sheriff's Office app, getting a NOAA radio, or the HyperReach app as well. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for stopping by in studio today. I appreciate it. It's great to see you here in person. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show. We've been speaking with Director of the Christian County EMA, Jeff Stoner. You're listening to WTIM, your information station.
Passengers will need to present a real ID or passport to avoid additional identity checks at the airport. The Ford Motor Company has announced